primary concern is actually for my kids here.
Halloween isn't the only thing giving our farmers a scare this week. Many say the first Labour budget for over a decade has been disastrous for small farms and their future.
Right, here's what's going on. Jeremy Clarkson, the guy we all know from Top Gear and Clarkson's Farm, is taking aim at British politics, and he's not holding back. This time, it's not about cars or quick laughs. Clarkson's furious about the new inheritance tax that Labour's rolled out, hitting farmers right where it hurts. The big target? Kier Starmer and Rachel Reeves. Labour's introduced this inheritance tax aimed at farms worth over £1 million, with a hefty 20% tax bill. Now, £1 million might sound like a lot, but in the world of farming, it's not about luxury. It's the land, barns, equipment, and everything that keeps these family farms alive. For these families, this isn't just about wealth, it's their livelihood, their heritage. And now, thanks to this policy, some of these folks might have to sell off the very land that's been in their families for generations just to cover the tax. And Clarkson? He's having none of it. Now, he's not just mouthing off on social media, though he's certainly doing that too. Jeremy's gearing up to join a major protest at Westminster on November 19th, where farmers from all over the country are coming together to make their voices heard. And Clarkson? He might even take the mic himself, standing side by side with these farmers, driving home his point. We're used to seeing Clarkson behind the wheel or making jokes, but this is different. He's fired up and he's ready to fight alongside the very people he's gotten to know since he started working his own land. You can see why he's so angry. If you've watched Clarkson's Farm on Amazon, you've seen that this isn't just some hobby for him anymore. Jeremy's been living the farm life, getting up at dawn, battling unpredictable weather, dealing with livestock, regulations, the whole 9 yards. So when Rachel Reeves, Labour's shadow chancellor, announced this tax plan, Clarkson hit back hard. He took to X and told farmers, "I know you've been shafted today, but don't despair. Just hold on for 5 short years and this lot will be gone." Classic Clarkson. Always direct, and it's clear that a lot of people are with him on this one. But he's not just venting. Clarkson's calling out the fact that Labour could have looked at this tax differently, maybe focusing on people with multiple revenue streams instead of hitting full-time farmers with a blanket tax. His point? If farming's your main job, maybe you shouldn't be forced to cough up this inheritance tax. But if farming's just your side gig and you've got other income, sure, maybe that's where the tax should apply. But Labour's gone for a one-size-fits-all approach, and Clarkson's pointing out just how unfair that is. And the part that really gets him, and honestly a lot of people, is that this isn't just about money, it's about legacy.
Jeremy Clarkson has said, "I'm surrounded by farmers and plasterers and brickies and butchers, and all I hear all day long is that there is too much immigration." He said, "But if they say this out loud, or if they go on a march..."
These farmers, they're not just sitting on property, they're sitting on their family's history, their heritage. This land has been passed down through generations, from father to son, mother to daughter, and now they're facing the possibility of losing it all. These aren't ultra-rich folks with yachts and private jets. They're the people who live, breathe, and work the land. And Clarkson's furious because he sees this tax as more than just a financial hit. It's an attack on a way of life that's woven into the fabric of Britain. This tax could affect up to 70% of farms across the country, which means this isn't just about money, it's about the survival of rural Britain. Imagine that. A policy that could wipe out family legacies, forcing people off land that's been theirs for centuries. And that's why Clarkson's so fired up. He's not just speaking for himself, he's speaking for a whole community of people who feel like they're being pushed aside by a government that doesn't understand or care about their way of life. Farmers across the UK are already organising and preparing to march on Westminster, and Clarkson, who once made a career out of mocking slow cars and having a laugh, is right there with them, ready to stand his ground. He's not just a loudmouth TV guy anymore, he's Jeremy the farmer, someone who knows firsthand what it takes to keep a farm going. And it's this experience that's giving his words weight. He's not just a celebrity spouting off, he's been through the struggles, and he's calling out the politicians he believes are doing serious harm to the people who keep Britain fed. What's changed for Clarkson isn't just his career, it's his perspective. Starting Clarkson's farm might have seemed like a fun project, but it's turned him into an advocate for rural Britain. He's out there, dealing with the same issues as every other farmer, and he's seen how tough it is. So when he hears about this inheritance tax, it's not just a political policy to him, it's a direct threat to the people and the life he's come to respect, and he's not staying silent. The real question now is, will this protest and Clarkson's voice be enough to make Labour reconsider? Because it's not just Clarkson talking. His farming partner, Caleb Cooper, is backing him up too, saying that farming is one of the most important jobs out there. Caleb put it simply, it doesn't matter what car you drive or the phone you have. What matters is what's on your plate, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a reminder that these aren't just farms, they're what keep food on tables across the country. So now we're at the part where Jeremy Clarkson isn't just talking, he's out there putting his reputation on the line for these farmers. This isn't just Clarkson ranting for effect, he's calling out Labour for what he sees as a complete disconnect with the people they're supposed to represent. And if there's one thing Clarkson knows how to do, it's stir the pot. He's telling Starmer and Reeves, you don't get it. You're putting entire livelihoods at risk, and you're too out of touch to see the damage you're causing. Clarkson's not mincing words. He's called Reeves and Starmer a bit dim for pushing a tax policy that pulls exemptions on farms valued over £1 million, hitting farmers who can't afford to lose that tax break. For Clarkson, this isn't just about numbers on a page. He knows that farming isn't a job but a lifestyle. These farmers aren't living in luxury. They're dealing with unpredictable weather, exhausting work, and endless regulations to put food on Britain's tables. To Jeremy, forcing farmers to sell off family land just to pay a tax bill? Unacceptable. This isn't just about one policy. Clarkson's anger taps into a broader frustration with politicians who seem miles away from the reality of people's lives. He's highlighting something that many feel. Politicians are too wrapped up in city life and parliamentary talk, forgetting the people they're supposed to represent. Clarkson's message is clear. If you're going to make rules for farmers, you'd better know what farmers go through. Clarkson's experience on Clarkson's farm may have started as a project, but it's turned him into a spokesperson for rural Britain. He's gone through the same issues every farmer faces: tough weather, financial margins, the grind of keeping a farm going. That's why he's not just another celebrity venting online. He's seen the challenges firsthand and isn't afraid to stand up to policies he believes are damaging. It's not just Clarkson making noise either. His farming partner, Caleb Cooper, is also backing him up, calling farming the most important job in the world. Caleb pointed out that, at the end of the day, it's not about the cars or gadgets, it's about what's on your plate. With Caleb's support, Clarkson's message is hitting hard, rallying farmers who feel that Labour's policies are short-sighted and damaging to their way of life. So here's where things stand. Farmers are organising and Clarkson is right there with them, leading the charge. This November protest is shaping up to be more than just a gathering. It's looking like the beginning of something bigger, a movement calling politicians to account. Because at the end of the day, these farmers won't go quietly, and with Clarkson backing them, they're making sure everyone in Britain knows what's at stake. The big question now is, will this movement actually push Labour to reconsider? Time will tell, but one thing's clear. Clarkson isn't backing down, and he's ready to make sure politicians get the message.